Second part of your guys' Koch Snowflake assignment is we're going to investigate these 8 things off the different iterations of Koch Snowflake. And we're going to try and put this information into Excel, use its crazy cool properties, and be able to come up with some patterns and some different things that are going on with this. So first thing I need you guys to do is open up Excel, and we're going to type those 8 categories in here. Now you may notice, when you guys type those in, you may notice they don't always fit. So what you can do is just double click right in between the columns, and it'll auto fit those things in. So there's the 8 things. I want you guys to pause that, type those in, and then we'll get going with the rest of this. Here's our picture. We're going to do this for stage 0 and a little bit of stage 1. I'm going to show you guys how to use Excel, and we're just going to use the autofill property to get this all the way done. So now we're going to call this iteration 0 to start because nothing's happened. Okay, we've started with 1 triangle. Number of sides, clearly there's 3 sides. Length of the sides is 1. And after we get this set here, I'll show you guys how to enter in Excel. I just want to explain where I'm getting this. Now remember, we started with an equilateral triangle that had 3 sides of length 1. So now the perimeter is always going to be the number of sides times the length of the sides. And that's one nice thing Excel will do for us. Number of new triangles. Well, there's going to be 1 new triangle because we started with 0. We have 1 new triangle in this iteration. Area of the new triangles. This is where it gets a little tricky. You guys know area is 1/2 base times height. This is the base. It's got a length of 1, so that's not a problem. Heights always have to come down perpendicular. So now what we have to do is draw a little triangle off to the side like this. If we know this is still 1, we'll call this H for the height. This base of 1 gets split into a 1/2 when that drops down perpendicular. So then you guys have done Pythagorean theorem before. So the hypotenuse squared equals the sum of each of the legs squared. So 1 squared is 1, h squared is h squared, 1/2 squared is 1/4. We subtract this over, h squared equals 3/4. We square root both the top and the bottom. Square root of 3, square root of 3, square root of 2 is 2. So now we have the height. So now we can go plug that in. So area equals 1/2. Base is a 1, because we're going back to the base of the whole triangle. The height is square root of 3 over 2. You multiply these together, and you get square root of 3 over 4. And I'll show you how to enter that into Excel. So area of the new triangle is square root of 3 over 4. So now that we got our area, our new area is going to be the same because we started with the same thing. Total area is obviously going to be the same again. Okay. Now think about how you would change these things. Number of new triangles is going to increase every single time. The area of the new triangles, you're going to have some new area. So the new area would be the product of these 2 things right here. The total area would be your old area plus your new area. Because whatever area this is, it's still there on this one right here, but you're adding this, this, and this. So area is getting bigger every single time. Now, let's see how we enter this stuff into Excel. Okay, iterations. We said we started with 0. Now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, etc. Here's a shortcut. Go to the next cell, hit equals, grab that cell, +1, and hit enter. So all we're doing is we're adding 1 every single time. Now you can grab the lower right corner and drag this down, and it'll add 1 automatically for you. We don't need to go any further than something between 25 and 30 iterations. Okay, sides, we said 3. Length of the side, we said 1. Now, here's a shortcut. For perimeter, we know it's 3, but here's how we're going to get it all the other times. We're going to say equals this cell, because it's sides, times length of the sides. There's 3 sides, they're each 1. That'll give us 3. Now, once we fill these in, we can drag that perimeter formula all the way down, and it'll fill it in for us. Okay, number of new triangles is 1. Area of the new triangles, we said it was square root of 3 over 4. Here's how you enter it. SQRT, 3, close that up, divided by 4. Whoops, guess we need an equal sign with it if it's going to work. Square root of 3, make sure it gets closed up, divided by 4. Okay, new area is the same number. Total area is just going to be this cell right now. Some shortcuts to help you out. Let's say you had a pattern 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. We've seen that all quarter. Clearly, we're multiplying by 2 every time. Here's what Excel will let you do. So this one should be 64, or 2 times the previous one. So if you hit equals this cell times 2, and you drag this down, it'll do that for you. Let's say you had 6, 30, 150, and so on. So times 5 equals this times 5. Grab the lower right corner and drag that all the way down. Okay, so first thing you guys need to do is go to the first iteration and calculate the number of new, or the number of total sides. Remember, the green are not sides. It's the things in the black. And then go find the total sides down here. You can use little shortcuts like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 sides there. Figure out how many groups of those 4 there are, and there'll be patterns. So once you find the pattern for sides, figure out the formula, use these shortcuts, drag it all the way down. Okay, length of the side. Now, if this was 1 and you split this into thirds, that means each of these things here is 1/3. So length of the side here is 1 divided by 3. Now, if it gives you January 3rd, what you can do is just kind of highlight all this stuff. Sometimes it auto-corrects them to dates. Right-click, go to Format Cells. Go to Number, and then you can just put this on Number. For some reason, this is being a little bit goofy, but change that to Number, and it'll work. So you can highlight them all, go to right-click, go to Number, click OK, go back and type in 1/3, and it'll do that for you. And now we might want to change the number of decimals in there. So right-click, Number, bump this decimals up to about 10 or so, because that's going to affect things. So for perimeter, over here, we would, because we've already done that formula, we would just be able to drag this all the way down once you get the sides in there. Think about how many new triangles, think about the area of the new triangles, different things like that, and we'll see how much of this table we can get filled in.